Bismillah. Bismillah, alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Wassalatu wassalam ala ashraf al-anbiya'i wal mursaleen, nabiyana Muhammad wa ala alihi wa ashabihi ajma'een. Amma ba'd. First and foremost, assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We continue with the book Kitab Ut-Tawheed by Shaykhana Muhammad bin Abdul Wahhab al-Mujaddid, and we're on the chapter Bab ma ja'a fil kuhanin wa nahwihim, which is what has been mentioned regarding soothsayers and their like. So the last few chapters we have been talking about the sahir, the sihr, black magic, magicians. Soothsayers or kuhanin is just a form of those people that do magic. It's just a form of those people that do magic. And this chapter, the relevance that it has to the book is that it is warning, it is as a warning to the soothsayers and those who believe in them of the severe punishment awaiting for them in the hellfire. So meaning those who believe in these soothsayers, those who believe in these magicians, and bring tasdeeq to them and put belief in what they are saying, their abode is going to be the hellfire. Why is this? Because of a simple principle which we remember, that only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has the knowledge of the unseen, ilmul ghaib. The moment we say somebody else also has the knowledge of the unseen, we are giving that person the attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because knowledge of the unseen is only for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So the moment the magician says, this is going to happen to you in the future, that is going to happen to you in the future, what is he saying? He is telling you something about the unseen. So he is falling in this category of kuhan, a soothsayer. And these people are going towards the hellfire. Because al-kuhan, soothsayers, the verb kahana, means to see and predict. Therefore, the soothsayers are those who inform of the happenings in the future, the unseen, based on what the devils of the jinn steal from the news of the heavens. Remember, what did we say? What did the jinn do? They go to the first heaven and they listen to the angels, what they are saying. Because one thing you must know, on the 27th night of Ramadan, or the last, one of the odd nights of Ramadan, last 10 nights, which becomes Laylatul Qadr, meaning the night of decree, what happens is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala informs the angels, this is going to happen this year, this is going to happen this year, this person is going to pass away, this person is going to pass away. So they go down and they talk to one another, the jinn are coming up, they are listening, and they may get some information, bring it down, tell these soothsayers. Or we said the shooting star will come and destroy them. So the ones that get away, you can say it is a test. The other people going to them believe in these magicians. So kuhan is a form of soothsayers. There is also munajjam, who is an astrologer. They rely on the position of the stars to predict the future. These are all people who try and predict what is going to happen in the future. Ar-Rumal, geomancer, they rely on drawing lines on the sun to predict the future. And then we have what we just mentioned, kahin. They rely purely from the news that the jinn give to them. And then you also have arraf. They use tangible matters to predict the unseen, such as cards, coffee, palm reading. These are all forms that people use to try and predict what is going to happen in the future. So now, let's try and understand this. What is impermissible? What is impermissible? It is to watch these people, whether it's on TV, whether it is live, whether it is going to these magic shows. To watch them is impermissible. To engage with them is impermissible. To take part in it with them is impermissible. It is haram. Even if one was to say, I am only listening out of curiosity to see what they are saying. Just to see what they are saying or what they are talking about out of curiosity. So this is why sometimes we should look at what type of programs are we watching. Because in these programs or certain type of movies that people watch, they will have these magic shows or something of teleporting or something of saying about the future or etc. This all falls under this category. Because it might be out of curiosity, but you are bringing this into your realm. You want to say something? You want to say something?
Yeah, I was just thinking of something.
Go on.
What about then, I heard something years ago from one of my sheikh, you know, when we were growing up, we all used to look at game Street Fighter.
Yeah.
And in there, they do them things that are like, you know, they blaze fire out of their hands and their Hadoukens and all that type of stuff. And one brother says, Hamza, because that's bad news, that. Is that the same type of thing?
So that's not what the topic we're talking about here, magic. It's a form of, because fire coming out is not normal for a human being to do. So it's a form of illusion to the eyes where someone thinks that this, I can maybe do this. Like when it's to Spider-Man, for example. This is stuff that you should avoid watching, because it can fall into this it's impermissible to watch in the first place, but whether you fall into the same category of you become a sahir or your salah is not going to be accepted for 40 days because you are watching this now, then that one is a bit different. But in terms of somebody doing fire from his hands and then somebody on the other side believing and thinking, maybe I can do this, maybe I can get them powers and I can do that magic, or it's illusion that I can possibly do, then this is that form of magic. It's like, you won't say a substitute of the magic, it's a type of that magic, which is illusion to the eyes. What we mentioned last time, and we mentioned that even the illusion to the eyes, what Sheikh Bin Baz says is that it's had a penalty, death upon the person, even those that do illusionary magic.
That's the question I posed.
Yeah.
So even the ones that...
Illusionary magic. It's like period of time of Musa alayhi salam that would turn the staff into like a snake type. It was an illusion of the eye. Them type of people, the had was death penalty. So with the card tricks and stuff, there could be sleight of hand to it. So if there's a sleight of hand, it's a bit different. It's the ones that actually like put a knife through them, no blood coming out, put them, lie them down there, start chopping them up, that kind of stuff. Because in the hadith it mentions all about the chopping up and all this kind of stuff.
But ultimately that is sleight of hand.
Yeah, but it's more like the illusion of what's taking place. Because like for example, if you put a card here and you just moved it like a small, like some people do that finger one, like someone like this or something, say, oh, my finger's broken. It's an illusion to think about. It's just simple things. It's the illusion of what you're doing can fall into that category. So this is what we will then say is saddu zara'i, meaning it's something which could lead to the major shirk. So you stop it and not even do those small little magic little tricks that you'll do at home with your little kids or something. Why? Because it's something that can lead to the major stuff. Or it might make you fall in love with that thing, that make you start doing the things that actually are used, where the jinn are used, etc., and other things are used to then take you into the shirk element of it. So that's the impermissibility part of it. And the only people that are allowed to watch are the ones who are grounded in the knowledge and are listening for the sake of doing a radd against them, meaning telling them what is wrong with what they are doing and going out and preaching to them. This is only those type of people can watch these things, that are actually going to listen and then talk about it. So if somebody is watching, oh, because I enjoy this, then he is falling in the haram category. Only those that actually are going to do something about it are allowed to watch, but they must have a good ground in knowledge before they do that. So another thing is, going to these people and believing in what they tell you. So in the hadith it talks about, we're going to talk about this, I'm going to give you an overall answer first. If you go to these people and you believe what they tell you, your salah will not be accepted for 40 days. So now a question will come up. So what if I do not believe? What if I do not believe what they are telling me? Then, so I go there, I listen to them, but I don't believe what they are telling me. So in another hadith, the Prophet ﷺ mentioned, just by going to them, your salah will not be accepted. Just by going to them. So for 40 days, your salah will not be accepted. So whether you go to them and you believe in them or you do not believe in them, just by going to them, your salah will not be accepted for 40 days. For example, روي المسلم في صحيح عن بعض أزواج النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم أن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال من أتى عرافا فسأله عن شيء فصدقه بما يقول لم تقبل له الصلاة 40 يوما. Some of the wives of the Messenger صلى الله عليه وسلم narrate that he said, whoever goes to the soothsayer and asks him about anything and believes in his words will have their prayers rejected for 40 days. So now another question. Now we're going to be in a fiqh. Try and understand. So now your salah is not accepted for 40 days. Does this mean you stop praying? You abandon the prayer for 40 days because it is not accepted? What do you think the answer will be? No. You still pray, but your salah will not be accepted. For 40 days, you cannot abandon your prayer. You still pray, but there will be no reward for that prayer. Meaning, he's still praying, but there's no reward in it. Yeah, so you're still so you're still not becoming a kafir, because the one who misses a salah intentionally is a kafir. So like this person, like for example, if somebody read this hadith for the first time, he will think, my salah is not accepted, so I don't need to pray for 40 days. Like generally, when you look at this hadith for the first time ever, you will think, I do not need to pray for 40 days. Why? Because my salah is not accepted. So what am I going to pray for? So this is when the fuqaha will come and say, no, you still pray. Why? Because if you do not pray, you become a kafir. This is just saying your salah is not accepted. So this in a way then like a cheat code. So you rather just go to the soothsayer and then 40 days you don't have to pray. You're still a Muslim, but you're just not getting accepted for 40 days. Because if you look at our prayers today, how many of our prayers are actually being accepted? Because if it's something where it's regular getting accepted, the Prophet ﷺ would have said, if only one of your prayer was accepted, all your past sins were forgiven, showing that not all of us will have khushu in our prayer. We will make mistakes in our prayer. We will not be 100% there in our prayer. Yes, we turn up for the fard, for the rukn, to get a tick and say, I am not a kafir, I prayed my prayers. But whether it's accepted or not is a different story. That's the second part. But here we are being told that you go to the soothsayers, the arraf, the kahin, etc., your prayer for 40 days is 100% not accepted. Even you can cry in your prayer, it can be the best of prayers you've done in your life, it will not be accepted. But you pray, because if you do not pray, you become a kafir. So the general meaning of the hadith, the Prophet ﷺ makes clear the punishment of those who visit a soothsayer for acquiring knowledge of future events, which is knowledge exclusive to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala alone. Those who do such a thing will not receive any reward for the prayers they offer during a period of 40 days, although they are still obligated to fulfill those prayers. وعن أبي هريرة رضي الله عنه عن النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم قال من أتى كاهنا فصدقه بما يقول فقد كفر بما أنزل على محمد رواه أبو داود. Abu Hurairah narrates that the Prophet ﷺ said, whoever visits a soothsayer and believes in what they say has disbelieved, has become a kafir in what was sent down to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And this is narrated in Abu Dawood. And also Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu narrates, whoever visits a fortune teller or a soothsayer and believes in what they say has disbelieved in what was sent down to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. So this is another hadith that is backing up the first point, that whoever goes to these people and believes in them has become a kafir. Has become a kafir. So this is why it is very, very important that we stay away from these people, because these type of people are going to take us out of the fold of Islam. Imam Ahmad has mentioned two narrations. Is he out of the fold of Islam, or is it minor kufr? So meaning that point that we mentioned, that he is out of the fold of Islam, he is a kafir, he now is posing the question, is this type of kufr a minor kufr, meaning kufr dun kufr, that he is still in the fold of Islam, but he is on the verge of kufr, on the verge of falling out of the fold of Islam, or is he fully out of the fold of Islam? Imam Ahmad, when he gave an answer, he could not give a clear answer. He said waqf, meaning he said regarding whether it's doing a kufr that I cannot go into more detail. I cannot say whether it is full kufr or not, or if it's minor kufr. So he didn't want to give the full answer to it. Sheikh Fawzan, he says, the one who goes is a kafir. If he goes knowing that shaitan is being used, the jinn are being used to get these answers, and he goes and he believes, knowing that the jinn are telling this person, then he has become a kafir. But he has to have that condition that he knows what is going on. For example, let's say I go to a masjid, for example, and I don't know, and that person says to me, and I sit with him, and he says, what's the issue? Like he sees me and he knows I have an issue. What's your problem with you? Oh, I'm going through this, I'm going through this, I'm going through this. And he starts telling me things. And then I believe in him. This is a bit different. Why? Because he doesn't believe at that point that that person is using the jinn to tell him things. But some people are clearly known for this. For example, people have businesses where they do this business of telling you about the future, but they'll want payment for it. Or they want certain things for it, and they'll tell you about your future, this is going to happen to you, and that's going to happen to you. Or they'll start writing stuff on piece of paper. This is clear, you know. But imagine the psychic in a way, yeah. So it's basically telling you about the future like this, yeah. But that's the, how do you say, the English word for it. Those that maybe use a crystal ball, for example. Those type of people use crystal balls or tell you this is going to happen to you, or they try and bring, they'll say you're this person that passed away of yours, this person is now with us, what do you want to ask them whatever you want, blah, blah, blah. This is messing with the realm of the unseen. All of this falls into this category that we're talking about. Whoever believes in any of these type of things, and he knows that that person is using the jinn, has become a kafir. If he doesn't know the person is using a jinn, then it's what Ibn al-Qayyim is talking about, where it's going towards dun kufr. Minor kufr. He's not out of the fold of Islam, but he's on the verge of falling out of the fold of Islam. This is why we say, like people, for example, when they say, I'm accepting what Abu Hanifa, for example, said in the fiqh over the hadith. This we say is kufr dun kufr. It's a minor form of kufr. Why? Because they are putting the hadith to one side, but they're taking a sheikh's verdict on something, even though the hadith is clear. But no, I'm taking this over this. This is when it falls into that type of category. They're not out of the fold of Islam, but they're on the verge of it. Why? Because they're on the verge of actually rejecting the sunnah. But they're not rejecting the sunnah, they're just favoring one thing over another, but they're favoring a goal of a person over the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. If they clearly say, I do not accept this, I reject this sunnah, this hadith, then they are falling into the realm of kufr. Why? Because they're rejecting what the Prophet ﷺ has said. So now what do we take from this? What we have taken so far is falsehood of magic. Falsehood of magic. And also believing they are falsehood and distancing yourself from them. And it is haram to go to any forms of any type of people who want to tell you about the unseen. And your prayer is not accepted for 40 days, and the rulers should punish these type of people. Fortune tellers, etc., they should be punished by the rulers. And we know in the ayat where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, قُلْ لَا يَعْلَمُ مَنْ فِي السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ الْغَيْبَ إِلَّا اللَّهِ. That say to them, O Messenger of Allah, none in the heavens and the earth know the unseen except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He is telling us that He is the only one that has knowledge of the unseen and nobody else. And there is a difference of opinion amongst the scholars regarding a type of kufr. This is what we were talking about before, referred to in the hadith. The difference stems from the validity of the addition and believers in his words. In the hadith of Hafsa, those who considered the addition as valid took it to mean minor kufr, because obligation of salah is still mandate upon them, whereas the salat of the kafir is not valid. So some set of scholars, they say, because the Prophet ﷺ mentioned that their salah is not accepted for 40 days, it's showing that they're still in the fold of Islam, that their salah is not accepted for 40 days. Because of this being there, they are still Muslims, but they are under the category of minor kufr. Those who considered the additional to be invalid took it to mean major kufr, and thus differentiated between the two conditions of visiting a soothsayer. If they ask them, but do not believe in them, their prayer is not accepted for 40 days. If they ask them and believe in them, then they become a kafir. Then they become a kafir if they believe in them. وعن عمران ابن حسين مرفوعا ليس منا من تطير أو تطير له أو تكهن أو تكهن له أو سحر أو سحر له ومن أتى كاهنا فصدقه بما يقول فقد كفر بما أنزل على محمد. Imran ibn Hussein narrates that the Messenger of Allah sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, "He is not from us who seeks omens or has omens interpreted for him, meaning at-tiyara, or practices fortune telling, or has his fortune told, or practices sorcery and magic, or goes to have it done for him. And whoever goes to a fortune teller and believes in what he says has disbelieved in what was revealed to the Messenger sallallahu alaihi wasallam." And the same hadith was narrated in At-Tabarani, in Al-Awsat, with a fair chain of narrations from Ibn Abbas without the words "whoever goes to" till the end. So let's break it down bit by bit. So for example, the first point, tutayyir, meaning omens, meaning superstitious things. It could be amulets that people wear, certain type of amulets, certain type of do not walk under a ladder, do not, if you see a black cat, bad, is something bad's going to happen. It's these type of superstition that people see. If you go out in something in the dark, something will happen to you, like any type of superstition that you may come across. If somebody believes in any of this, this is from the branch of magic. And whoever does the magic or seeks for it, and then comes and believes in them, then he has disbelieved. So these type of omens and these type of superstition, if you believe in them that it's going to happen, then you're also falling under this category. It comes into the same category that we are talking about. Going near trees is more about the jinn being there. So that we have a hadith that jinns be around those areas. So if it's I'm going towards, don't go towards the trees because jinns are there, that's fine. If it's don't go towards the tree because you're going to get bad luck in your life, then that's different. That's what we're talking about here, superstition, omens. It could be any form. Don't go near that ladder over there. If you go to that ladder for the next 10 years of your life, your wealth is going to decrease and this is going to, that's going, then. Yeah, so anything for like good luck and all that stuff, no. This all falls into this type of category. But then it's more, if you're putting good luck to it, if somebody, let's say, salutes an animal for the sake of just saluting it, or gives it salam, for example, there's nothing to it. It's the, what are you connecting to it? If there's some form of connection of good and bad to it, then there's an issue. Why? Because what do we say? All shar and all naf, all good and all bad is from Allah. No thing, unless stated in a hadith or anything, can bring you any good or bad. Only if Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wills. So we have to find a hadith, for example, a ladder is an omen that can cause you bad luck. We have to have some form of evidence. We can't just make that up. And if we make that up and we start believing in it, this is what it falls into these categories that we're talking about. And Shaykh Fawzani says, they may mention the name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, pray, etc., but they deceive. Who is he talking about? The magicians. These type of people, what is, they will pray. They will have beards. They will have the tasbih in their hands and they'll be praying. They're like pious people. But they use the jinn. They deceive the people. Meaning what he's trying to say is, just because you pray, just because you fast, just because you have a mark on your head, doesn't mean you are going Jannah. If you are a soothsayer, for example, you're a magician, that is your downfall of you falling towards hellfire. So meaning you can be pious, but this what you are doing is form of shirk. Basically trying to say it's a form of shirk, and it is taken to you towards the hellfire. Or other forms, for example, if you look at it, a person could be practicing, but that he might be doing something from the nullifiers of Islam, any nullifier of Islam, which takes him out of the fold of Islam. So just practicing isn't enough for you to enter into Jannah. The Tawheed side of it is very important. The oneness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, staying away from shirk, is more important. Why? Because what the Shaykh is saying is, you can come with the best of ibadat, but if you have any form of nullifiers, all those ibadat are put to the side and you are going straight towards the hellfire. Why? Because your Islam is nullified and you have disbelieved and you become a kafir. For example, what do people say? I was ill, I went to this person and he cured me. He is the one who gave me the shafa'a. He is the one who gave me the cure for my illness, for my this. Because they took it away from Allah and they said the individual gave him the cure, automatically, we've mentioned this so many times now, he's disbelieved. He's disbelieved. Why? Because he feels this person who I've gone to is the one that has cured me, not Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So they automatically fall out of the fold of Islam. Paracetamol, if you're, for example, but then majority of the time people have it, like you can say the words, I had this paracetamol and it cured me. But in your head, in your intentions, in your niyyah, in your sincerity, it is knowing that it is Allah that cured me. But some people, because if you were, for example, to ask the same person who said the paracetamol cured me, and you said, did the paracetamol cure you, or was it Allah that used this paracetamol to cure you? They say, oh yeah, Allah, it was Allah, of course it was Allah that through the paracetamol gave you shafa'a. But there are some people out there who, especially when it comes to ta'weez, amulets, and I've witnessed this firsthand, this is what I'll say, where you tell them that it was Allah that cured you, and they literally say, no, I used to make dua to Allah every single day. Nothing happened. The moment I wore this amulet, this ta'weez, my life changed. This is what cured me. So I said again, no, it was Allah. Okay, whether you put this on or not, it was Allah that still give you the shifa. No. Not Allah, it was this. So that's clear cut. Why? Because they're saying it's not Allah, it is this that cured me. Clear cut. This is shirk. Straightforward. Why? Because they have said the thing has cured them, not Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And this is how some people, they feel that these soothsayers, these people, they are the reason why I'm cured, and they take it away from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, that cureness, that shifa. So this is when they fall into the realm of shirk. Imam Baghawi, he says regarding the term Arraf, is someone who claims to have knowledge about the unseen. For example, you lose an item and you go to a person and say, I have lost my key, I have lost my phone, I have lost this, and he tells you exactly where the item is by using the jinn. So you'll say your item is in this place, in that room, in this area, blah. If you go there, you'll find it. So what happens? The person will go find it and he'll believe this person. So he is falling into the same category. So let's try and understand that principle. So firstly, he went to these type of people. Yeah, he went to these type of people. So his salah is not accepted for 40 days because he went to these type of people. Now, has he believed or has he not believed? He's believed because he has gone, he's found a thing and he's come back to the person. He says, yes, what you have done, what you have said was 100% correct and it was 100% true. So he's also believed. If you're going to the major scholars, they say this person has become a kafir. Like Shaykh Fawzan says, this person has become kafir because he's gone to the person and he's also believed. So he's not a follower of Islam. He goes to the person, but then he thinks to himself, what am I doing here? He leaves. He doesn't believe the person, he leaves. So this person, we say, his salah is not accepted for 40 days, but he's still a Muslim. He's still in the fold of Islam. He hasn't left the fold of Islam. So it all comes down to whether you believe and don't believe, whether you fall out the fold of Islam. Because generally we will always say, try and take the lenient approach, meaning say he's minor shirk, minor kufr, not major kufr. But when you're studying, you try and give yourself the strictest of opinions to keep yourself firm and grounded, to keep yourself away from going to. Because what happens if I was to say here, no, we're going to go with the opinion that it is minor kufr. Someone later on might think, oh, you know what, I'm still in the fold of Islam, I haven't left Islam, let me go do it. What's the worst that could happen? At least I'm not a kafir. Why? Because that person said, you always try and you leave the grey area out, or always give the stricter opinion. Why? So you can then keep yourself compact. So you avoid going to these people at all costs. Why? Because you know, if I go to these people, firstly, my salah is not accepted, and I can fall into kufr straight away, just by believing in them. Just by believing in them, I can fall into kufr. It's having that in your head, because that will automatically make you put fear in your heads and to keep you away from them.
Zohaib, wouldn't the question be though, a person by visiting you, that action says that you believe what they're telling you. Otherwise, why would you go?
Yeah.
Go for Allah. Well, let's just go see what he's saying. Nobody would do that, would they? They would only go because they believe they can.
Because what is an example? Let's give the example of somebody struggling to have a child, for example. You've gone asked a few people, somebody says, you know what, I went to so-and-so and he gave me some cures, or he gave me some medicine, he helped me, example. So you're going off somebody's word now. You don't know who the person is, you don't know anything about him, so you will go there. Out of curiosity, you'll go there. One is you work out straight away, wait, hold up, this guy's dodgy, and you leave. One is you've already done your research and you already know, okay, this guy is somebody who uses the jinns. He uses outside realms and to get his information, and you still go. This is when you're talking about, this is what you're coming to now, that what you're posing a question, which is you know about this person already and you're still going to him. That's when we say you're straight to shirk. Why? Because he because he knows that that person is using the jinns. He already knows that he is using the jinns to get his information, and he is going there and then believing in it. So this person is out of the fold of Islam, because he knows what's going on. But then somebody who is like a jahil, he might not know what that person is using. He's been told by so-and-so, just go to this person, he can help you in something. A person may think he's just a normal imam of a masjid, because generally these type of people, they will have a big beard. They will have a hat upon their head, and they'll look like really pious people that you could not like think, oh, this guy is a dodgy person, or he's using jinn, or he's using this. Because if you look at many of the people today, probably 90% of them are ignorant people, because they don't have basic ground knowledge of this religion. They don't have the basic understanding. So when they go to these people, they can tell them straight to their face something shirk, but they won't have a clue that it's even shirk what they've said to them. Why? Because they think this person's got a beard, there's no way he can tell me something wrong. So this is why I said when we always say there's always individual cases. What that person is going for, who's told him, why has he gone, what does he know about the person, what does he know about that person. For example, let's say I was dragged along with somebody, we're going to watch a show. That's what I was told. We went there and a magic show is taking place. Am I automatically in that place of, oh, I am haram because I'm there? What if I left straight away? Because I didn't know what I was going for. These all knew what they were going for, but I didn't have a clue. So you have to always look at, okay, this person will say, for him, and he left straight away, it's one of those where, inshallah, he won't get punished for it, because he didn't know why he was there. The other ones who went there knowing it's a magic show, and we're going to see a magic show, then they will fall into that category we're talking about, which is impermissible to even see them, to even listen to them, to even watch them, etc. It's haram, etc., all that kind of stuff. So we always say it's individual, depending on what that individual knows about the person, about what he's doing, etc. Then you can base whether he's a kafir or not a kafir. Meaning if he's out of the fold of Islam. The point here is, for example, they asked the sorcerer to implement their sihr on someone they dislike, meaning black magic on someone. Or they asked the sorcerer to remove the sihr which they have been afflicted with. The Prophet ﷺ disassociated from all these categories of people and excludes them from being from his ummah or being the best of his ummah, depending on their situation. The scholars differed as to the difference between Arraf and Kahin. The author mentions some of the opinions as an explanation to this hadith. They can be summarized as follows. They are two names for the same thing, and there is no difference between them. They both predict the future, but use different means to do so. Hence, the difference is their names. This is the opinion of Shaykh al-Islam Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah ta'ala. And this is the correct of opinions. Allahu A'lam. So, we are taking from this that there are people who will say to the sorcerer, the sahir, the magician, cure me for my illness or put black magic on a different person. You know how when people go and they'll take hair strands or they'll take clothing, or even nowadays pictures are enough to put a person through certain type of difficulties. It could be marriage difficulties, it could be health difficulties, it could be issues within their marriages, it could be birth issues, it could be any form that they will go to these people and say, I want to put harm on this person, paralyze this person, make sure he does not have any barakah in his life, his wealth goes upside down, etc. So they will go to this person, they will use him, and the Prophet ﷺ is saying what? I disassociate myself from these people and they're not from my ummah. They are basically kuffar, those that go and believe in these people and know that they're using the jinn, etc. And they become kuffar because of this. So the general meaning of what we just mentioned is the Prophet ﷺ clearly states that whoever practices tiyara, soothsaying or sorcery or asks others to practice it for them, then they are not from his followers or abide by the true Islamic teachings. This is because these practices imply a claim of possessing knowledge of the unseen, which is exclusive to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, which we mentioned before. Imam al-Baghawi and Ibn Taymiyyah rahimahullah ta'ala both explain what a soothsayer, an astrologer, a geomancer are in terms of what they supposedly achieve, and that is their claim to have knowledge of the unseen, which are events aided by the devil, the shayateen, the jinn, who eavesdrop from the heavens and give the news to these people. So the way we take it or understand it is knowledge of the unseen, ilm al-ghaib, is only for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Anyone else who comes and claims knowledge of the unseen, using the jinn, using the kuffar, and then us as the people believe in them, we become kuffar and they become kuffar. They are also kuffar because they are using the jinn to mess around and say we have attributes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So they are already people who have left the fold of Islam, and then us believing in them, knowing what they are doing, we also leave the fold of Islam.
If we make a simple prediction, so the football man, and I say now this team is going to beat this team.
It's more, I think, you haven't used the jinns, you haven't used any form of unnatural thing. Yes, you can say, okay, are you predicting the unseen? The thing is, you haven't given no definite answer. It's I think. For example, it could be, I am studying very hard, I think I'm going to get good grades. It's just a general answer. I think this is going to happen. Why? Because of maybe information you receive. For example, let's say football, we talk about football. You know the teams, you know the lineups, and you think, okay, from the teams and what I've seen, this team is stronger than this team, I think this team's going to win. But you have information there, it's what's in front of you. And it's not, I know this team is going to win, this score, and if they don't win, then I'm not a non-Muslim. I know the unseen, I can guarantee it. I can guarantee. There's that one thing of saying things somewhere with a guarantee, but the whole thing here is using the jinn. Main thing is using the jinns to get this knowledge of the unseen. That's the main point, they're using the jinn part. Because everyone says, I predict, or I think, or this is going to happen like that. We all say it's a normal term on everyone's tongue. So that part, it's like you can say, stay away from it, but it's not haram. Stay away from it because why? It can start taking you into more and more. Because that's why we say, like, for example, horse race, like certain type of horse racing, sunnah to do horse racing, but taking it to extreme where you can start leaning towards gambling, where you go into casinos, start betting on the stuff. We always say, like, cut it off or leave it to the point that it's allowed and don't go extreme in it. Why? Because it's something then that can lead to the haram part of it, the gambling part of it. This all comes into that form of sadd al-zarai, what we were talking about, where you cut it off before it can go worse.
So if you was to be like a jockey today, race horses, is that permissible even though people are going to be gambling upon that race?
We'll say we're not allowed to do it by because we know what's taking place on the outside, but we know it's sunnah to ride horses.
Does that mean even like then football or any other sport really, because there's gambling that takes place in it?
See, from the outside, see the thing with gambling is, it's with horses, it's a known thing. Because gambling can be done with anything. Gambling can be done with, I think, I'll give you £10 if Kamran's going to wake up at 9 o'clock tomorrow. Then it's like, okay, don't go sleep. Me and someone else can gamble whether you're going to wake up. We're going to start gambling on what time you're going to sleep and what time you're going to wake up every day. Gambling can happen anything, but there's some which are known for gambling and some which are not known for gambling, or gamble on certain periods or certain time. For example, when we play football, normal locally or something, there's no gambling involved. So if you're saying, can I become a Premier League football player and play in the Premier League, etc., we have to look at it. There's a lot of things involved with it. Firstly, the aura of an individual. What is he going to be endorsing? For example, on his shirts might be alcohol names. It might be some haram companies. He might be linked with haram, something of haram. But if he can use football as a means of giving da'wah to the people, example, then maybe. But if his is just, I love football, but I'm going to still endorse this, endorse that, endorse Heineken, endorse Carlsberg, endorse this, then he should stay away from his haram. Then you can say it's haram for him to even go to that extreme of playing in professional manner. Why? Because of what it could lead to. So this is that thing. So playing football is fine. You go with your friends, play football is perfectly fine. But then, okay, going one level up, professional level in a Muslim country, fine. But now we're talking about England, Germany, these places of kuffar and what they endorse and what they're pushing forward. For example, making you wear the LGBTQ armbands. You as a Muslim have to hate this. But let's say you have to wear it. You can't say, oh no, but I hate it, but I have to wear it, it's my job. You understand what I mean? You can't give that excuse for yourself. So what is it better? It's better to stay away from that or go play in a place where that is not normal. Understand? So you have to differentiate where you're playing. You don't think, oh, I'm going to get extra 10 grand here. It's like we say regarding Jummah prayers. Sometimes you might have to reduce your wages just so you can go and pray your Jummah, just so you can pray your Salah on time. Because it's more important. You can't make the excuse that my workplace is not allowing me to pray. So sometimes you then have to go and look in a different direction so you can pray it. Why? Because we know the one who misses 3 Jummahs in a row on purpose, we can say, oh no, but our workplace is not letting us, that's not purpose. We can say it is purpose. Because you have a choice whether you want to stay there or not stay there. But by you staying there, you are saying, my work is first, Jummah is second. So they say, when you do 3, your house becomes sealed, meaning you become a kafir. By missing 3 on purpose. So inshallah, so that chapter is finished. And then we'll just quickly get an understanding of the next chapter and we'll call it a day. So I'll quickly go through it in 5 minutes just to get an understanding of what the next chapter is. So the next chapter is Babu ma ja'a fi nushrah. What has been mentioned regarding the curing of magic possession. So now I want you to understand it in 2 points. 2 points, and then we're going to leave it here and then we'll carry on with it next week. And nushrah is curing. Curing. So in one hadith, the Prophet ﷺ, he says, عن جابر أن رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم سئل عن النشرة فقال هي من عمل الشيطان. That the Prophet ﷺ, he was asked regarding nushrah, meaning cure, he said it is from the works of shaitan. And then in another hadith in Sahih Bukhari, عن خدادة قلت لابن المسيب رجل به طب أو يؤخذ عن امرأته. And in Bukhari it reports that Abu Qadada, he said, I asked Ibn al-Musayyib, a man is under magical spell or is unable to be intimate with his wife, should we treat him by a nushrah or apply some other means to cure their sorcery? And Ibn Musayyib is a tabi'een, and he says there is no harm and he is allowed to do this cure. So in the first hadith, the Prophet ﷺ is saying it is from the works of shayateen. It is what the people of ignorance, the people pre-Islam used to do. It is from the works of shayateen. And the second one is saying that a person is going through difficulties, he's having difficulty with intimacy with his wife, he's got some illnesses. What is he allowed to do this cure? And they said, yes, he is allowed to do the cure. So being the same term, nushra, it's allowed and it's not allowed. So now we have to understand when is it allowed, when is it not allowed. It is allowed when it comes to sharia, ruqya, tajarba, meaning paracetamol, etc. This something which has been used, trialed and tested, and it works. So this is when it's allowed. When is it not allowed, and what is the nushra the Prophet ﷺ is talking about? He is talking about when magic is used to remove magic. Meaning, a person is possessed with black magic. He goes back to the soothsayer. He goes back to the magician. He goes back to the sahir who done the magic upon him. And he says, I need to find a cure to get this magic removed from me. So this person then uses the jinns again. The jinns will give a remedy and he will tell the person this is the remedy, or he will use certain portions. He will recite on the person in a certain way with magical words, or he will give an amulet with what we might see, which many people may see, which is boxes. And they will use certain letters and certain numbers. For example, it will be seen with the alif, ha with a number 2, etc. in boxes. And around the boxes they'll be using the names of the shayateen, the jinns. And this is their form of remedy, they are saying. So it is magic taking away magic. And this is what the Prophet ﷺ said, it is from the times of Jahiliyyah and it is not allowed. So the ones that is allowed is the ones you say from the Quran, from the Sunnah, using ayat from Surah Al-Baqarah that talk about the shayateen, or other ayat that talk about the shayateen and removing the shayateen. And they say the best of cures for this is Surah Al-Fatiha, which is the best of cure for this. But inshallah we'll take it in more detail next week. So this is just an understanding of understanding this topic that we're going to take. And what I've mentioned is literally the topic in a nutshell. So what I've mentioned is enough for us, that topic. But we'll go through our hadiths and we'll go through the certain ayat that one can read, just so we can help ourselves and we can do that cure upon ourselves sometime to see maybe are we possessed, is something wrong with us. Because what another point is, many of us feel it is common that we are possessed with black magic, or it's common that black magic is everywhere. But this is like a mental block, because black magic isn't a common thing. What's common is us mentally thinking something's happened to us at every instant. We lose a bit of money, someone must be doing black magic on me. Something's going wrong, someone must be doing black magic on me. My door's not opening, my door's been stuck for 3 years, somebody must have done something on me. Like for any instance of something going on in our life, it's always, oh, maybe black magic, maybe black magic, maybe black magic. And we fail to think sometimes maybe it's a test from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to see how we're going to react in that situation. So not everything is always jinn possession or black magic or the evil eye. It's not a common thing that people think it is, how people think it is. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala forgives us and elevates our ranks in Jannah. وَمَا عَلَيْنَا إِلَّا الْبَلَاغُ الْمُبِينُ. جزاكم الله خير.